Good evening and welcome to this special edition of Showtime TV. I'm your host, Omarrashada. This is part 2 of the upcoming stage play that will be taking place Saturday, August 27, 2022, 7 p.m. at the Wilmington Drama League, which is located at 10 Wesley Boulevard, Wilmington, Delaware, 19802. Part 2 of this hit stage play. 3 men, 3 women, the stories of 6 strangers. Once again, be taking place August 27, 2022, and I have 2 very special guests joining me this evening. One, well, I'm going to let them introduce themselves and let the audience know what role they do in this play. Let's start off with Janice King, the birthday girl.
Yeah, that's right. Hello, everyone. My name is Janice King, and I just celebrated my 65th birthday, so I'm still on cloud 9. I'm so happy. So, for the stage play, 3 Men, 3 Women by omarrashada, I am part of the production team. I am the stage manager, and my role is to ensure that I communicate well with everyone, that I help coordinate anything that needs to be coordinated, stage props, the crew, the cast, and that's my role in this play right now, and assisting Omar and all the members.
And Doshi, who are you? What do you do?
Hi, how are you? My name is Doshia Keys, and I play Dr. Cherry Silver Perkins. Hey, listen, she is fiery. She is, dedicated to what she does, and just know that getting prepared for this part really has been truly deep searching, time put in, but I know because action is next week. So I just want to be where I need to be at, sir.
All right.
Absolutely.
So let me ask you too, when you got the call of your respective roles, or the email or the text, whatever, how you got the message, I can't remember offhand. But when you got the message that you were going to be Dr. Terry, when you got the message or the invitation that to be the stage manager, I want to know, what was your immediate reaction?
Well, I'll go first. My immediate reaction was, what? Wow. I was really surprised, actually, because I had no prior experience as a stage manager. And I said to myself, Janice, you can do this. You can do anything you set your mind to do. And I was really honored that you selected me, and I thank you so much.
Oh, she Keys.
Yes, ma'am. Well, when I got the call, Mr. Rashida, I was just like, wow, like really? He was like, and you was like, yeah. I was just like over the hill. I don't even know how, because I always thought that I could, do a little something. And so when I went in, I did try to, bring my with the how a high school, taught us from the popular street players. I tried to bring my A game, so I wanted to make sure I do that. But I was just like not only was I smiling and happy on the outside, I was really overjoyed that out of everybody that you could have picked, you picked little old me.
Well, I want to stay with you, though. So I want to give the audience an opportunity to know who you 2 ladies are. What you do, because you have a history prior to this play. Also, you have acting experience. But also, I want to talk about your acting experience a little bit. How you got started in acting? What made you want to be into the acting arena? And then, what do you currently do professionally right now outside of acting? That's you, Dose.
Well, I am a retired state worker. I've worked 17.5 years for the state of Delaware. Always been involved, like from, church growing up, as our director kind of wrote, nobody asked you, did you want to go to church? When you got to church, they told you, here was your Christmas piece, here was your, Easter piece. And then it just so happened my 2nd grade teacher was my Sunday school teacher. So I remember one one Sunday not going, why she bring that thing to school? And what was I going to say? But thank you, ma'am. You know, so it all started for me in the church, and those presentations like that. And then, you know, back then they weren't microphones and all that. They said, speak up, speak up. We had public speaking in school. We had to do book reports. So I just kind of always like being on the stage, and just with it, preparing for whatever that you're doing, whether it's just you by yourself or in a case that we have now, a cast. There's definitely preparation, and it has to be dedication as well. So, you know, so now currently, Mr. Omar didn't know, but currently I am in the school system and I do teach. So, and, you know, was promoted to a different position as well, because now I get the opportunity to do that thing called reading and writing. So we get a chance to, I'm in a different role this year, and I'm really excited about that, because it's teaching our little people about, you know, being able to construct a sentence, and, you know, what a sentence looks like, and express yourself with words. And so I look forward to just finding ways to engage them, so that, you know, that they will then take over those roles of those of us that's getting as young as some of us are getting.
Yeah.
So we just praise and thank God for that.
Right, right. So, Janice, you, like I said, this is your first time being a stage manager, but you do have a history. Well, you know, well, not a very long history as you shared in previous shows, but you have a history of being a visual artist. I want to, you know, you to inform the audience, you know, how you got involved with being a visual artist, as well as what do you do professionally outside, you know, being a visual artist.
Okay, well, actually, I retired from New York City Health and Hospitals about maybe 10 years ago. And I became disabled. So I am now, and then I became a self-taught visual artist at age 60. And that was in 2018. So at this point now, I am still a visual artist. I host a radio show with WHGE 95.3 FM. And my show is titled The Wilmington Renaissance. And on that show, I do spotlight and give voices to artists of all genres. And I connect that show with the Harlem Renaissance. And at each show, I speak about an artist from the Harlem Renaissance. So that's what I currently do, in addition to being the stage manager. And I do lots of other things. I also do clutter counseling for many different people. You know, people have lots of clutter in their home. They may have clothing or things around that they have not had the opportunity to discard, or not knowing what to do with it. They just let it pile up. So I counsel them and help them to eliminate some of those things. Yes, and I also, through my art, I have a clothing line. I have a wearable art clothing line that I designed with my art and art products.
So both of you ladies are very busy.
Yes.
From sunset to sunrise, you keep it going. You know, both of you ladies are extroverted in regards to your personalities. When you, I guess, perform in front of others, speak in front of others, do lectures in front of others, as extroverts, well, I believe you're extroverts. Y'all might think differently, I don't know, but to me, just looking from the outside in, you're extroverts. Do you get nervous when you're making a presentation, or when you're performing in front of people, or when you're doing an art show in front of people? Because, you know, a lot of people that they're afraid of public speaking. They get nervous in front of a lot of people. They don't like the limelight. They'd rather be in the background. But both of you ladies are like right in the center. I mean, you're right there. All eyes are on you, as Tupac Shakur say. So, do any of you two ladies get nervous? We can start off with Doshi.
Well, listen, I'd be just nervous, but what I've done is I've certainly prayed about it, and I've went inside of Doshia for preparation, and preparation is studying, writing and rewriting it, and studying and rewriting it. I was and any piece of paper I get that I can rewrite it on, I don't rewrote it. Those are the ones that I'm struggling with. If something woke me up the other night, I'm trying to just do sleep. I just want to be sleepy because I always believe that when you go to perform, that you give people your best. So any performance that I've ever been a part of, I asked that out of those that were coming. I don't kept children up kind of late. I didn't mind it. Just had to swing them on past McDonald's. I know y'all don't want them to have it, but I had to have them something because I know it's way past dinner. And I thought it'd be a little bit on the panel to just say, hey, well, yeah, it was McDonald's again. But I do know that practice. But yes, sir. Back to nervous. Yes, sir.
All right. Janice King.
Yes, there are times that I do get nervous. I mean, not just with public speaking or being in the limelight, but after what I do actually is sort of center myself and say, you know what, just go with it. Give it your best shot, be attentive, be interesting, and do it. So my best times is when I'm just out in control of things and I can just flow with what's going on. Yeah.
Dos, you mentioned a word earlier, preparation. And you are a school teacher, and your character, Dr. Cherry Silver Perkins, is a school teacher. So I guess in preparing for that role, I guess being a teacher, helps you. So in regards to having love and passion for the children. So what's your character, Dr. Terry Silver Perkins, you see yourself in her personally?
I see her fight. I actually come from out of the 60s. My daddy was a Garveyite. So, way back when it wasn't very popular, we were talking about African for Africans home and abroad.
That's
and
right.
just throwing me out of that classroom, so by the time I got there, because it's 11 of us, by the time I got there, pretty much the social study teacher said I pretty much could do anything I wanted to do because I wasn't going to get but a C because they didn't hear another thing about those things I was bringing to them. So I just went to the music room because I love music. I love music and I love dancing and I love to see, people that are in together having a wonderful time, with each other. But yes.
And Janice, this your experience being a leadership. You have you're an entrepreneur. You have your own business, visual artist, as well as clothing line, and you are hostess of your own television program. So, with those leadership qualities, did that help prepare you in terms of being a stage manager?
Yeah, stage manager requires quite a few skills, and one of them is a leadership skill. And with all of the experience that I've had in many different professions and in many different posts or titles, I've combined all of those. And those should talk about research. A lot of what I do requires research, whether it's my art, looking at something, whether it's me planning out my wearable art, the clothing line, even on my radio show. I do research on the persons that I am having to appear in person and also on the artists from the Harlem Renaissance. So I have to do research. And for this stage play, I've done some research actually to find out what the stage manager production team entails. So yes.
When you ladies receive the script, whether you scanned it or read through it from the beginning to the end, what emotions came out of you? Anyone can start.
I can tell you that I read the script about maybe 6 times, 7 times, and when I first read it, I'm like, okay, you have to read it again. I read it again in a couple of days. And many emotions came out because I can identify with each different aspect of each character and what they've experienced. So the emotions that came out, some of them are sadness, some are shock, some are maybe dismay, some are embarrassment, some are and happy. You know, there are several emotions that come up from this script for me, as well as I'm pretty sure for other people, you know, because I know some people that have experienced some of the things in the play, and I've experienced some. So, yeah.
Ocean?
Well, as Miss Janice said, when I read through it, you know, I had to put it down because you know, emotionally, I could identify with, you know, quite a few things that was going on in there. So then I came back and I looked at it from the writer's perspective, and then I looked at it as the being part of the role that was chosen to be um part of the play. So when I put all three of those together, it just made me feel so absolutely blessed that I was around such great talent, because about 2 years ago I went down Atlanta to my great niece. I was to assist her and her family. And then once I got there, we was cool, and I came on back home, that there was no need for me. But all I was saying was I was going over to Tyler Perry's. And here's Tyler Perry right here in Wilmington, Delaware. So when I got that call, you know, number one, that there was a play, and that, you know, I could possibly audition, and then to be, because I had told you know, Mr. Omar, that listen, I'll be whatever you want me to do. I sweep the stage. I just want to be that close to be part of, you know, because I always remember with the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey said the greatest leader is one that can follow. So I listen, I don't have no, I just want to be wherever I can, that it will not be good, but to be great. I want, when they walk in there, they say, listen, that y'all gonna have to go back up and do that. And we like, no, y'all gonna have to. We got like another whole two, you know, cast of people that's out there waiting to see the works that you know, this young man does. So I'm just, you know, I'm just telling you that it was just all of that all together. And as Miss Janice, you know, put in there, it's just, it was like that. It was like that.
Yeah. You know, whenever you're dealing with majority of plays you see out there, you have a full cast, maybe 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 or more characters. I think, you know, when you're in a play and you're dealing with so many different personalities, you're dealing with egos, you have to develop a chemistry among your fellow actors and actresses. So this would your experience has been involved with maybe not just this play, but maybe other things in life or other plays in the past. What are the key elements, what you two ladies say is important when bringing the play together to make successful, when you're dealing with so many different personalities, age groups, because culture comes into play, because you got, I think, if you look at our play, the youngest is 10 years old. He's the man, Clave, and then the oldest side. Like, if you do that there, I don't see my age out there, but you know, we have a diverse cast in regards to age, in regards to backgrounds. So what are the key elements would you say makes a play outstanding when you're dealing with, like I said, so many people?
I would say what makes the play outstanding, and even to deal with so many different people, is knowing personalities. You know, one of the things that I do is try to communicate. I do communicate with people regardless of their personality, and you meet them where they are. You have to meet them where they are, communicate well with them, listen to their needs. You know, sometimes people, whether they're playing a character or not, you know, have whatever going on with them, and trying to understand them and just moving along to get the job done, you know, speaking to them in a way that they understand that, okay, cool, I understand that, we have to get the job done. So that's basically, you know, what I do. Yeah.
Well, I came from that era that, you know, whatever you do well. If you're a leaf picker upper, be a great leaf picker upper. So whatever that you do it well. So now to do that, you must practice. You've got to put something in to get something out. I mean, those that, I always say it like this, those of us that looked at our timetables one time and learned our timetables 1 through 9 the first time they had it. Well, you're great. But the rest of us had to go over. We knew 1 would be cool. 1 too bad with 2s. But when you start getting up in them 4s and them 8s and them 9s, you know, and so what was it? It was over and over and over and over. One must commitment, you know, that type of commitment. You know, we have commitments to our job. We have commitments to, you know, our spiritual growth. And we definitely have, you know, when we commit to something, we were taught that when you commit 100%. I mean, it's okay if you're not going to be there, there's accountability. You know, hey, listen, I'm running a little bit late. Hey, this is what's going on, you know. But at the end of the day, coming together for the performance is really what it's all about, because there are pieces, but those pieces make a whole. And if a fraction is a third, but all together we make 1. So all of us together, that's what make it. It's not a 1, it's not a 2. It's all of us together cohesively saying, hey, have you internalized your part? You know, sometimes you have to internalize some things. Some things you got to say, wow, I'm really up on that right there. And I can guarantee you, those were the ones that I'm not going over and over trying to learn it. I got it. But there's some other ones you know, so guess what? I'm just still writing it. I'm still laughing about it, you know, just doing what has to do, because it's called preparation.
I want to ask you too, Doshi, I want to ask you, is there a particular type of character that you absolutely refuse to play because of your morals and values? And Janice, I want to ask you, as a visual artist, is there a particular type of artwork that you may avoid doing because of your personal morals and values? So let's start off with Janice.
Okay, I would say that so far I have not neglected to create any particular type of artwork, but because of my morals, values, and personal integrity, I would create artwork that is uplifting, that people can identify with, even though people identify with anything, because it depends on their personality. But I have not yet created any nudes. I don't think it's necessary for me to create a nude. Yeah, that's about it. I have not, you know, I want to create something that's going to be great and really uplifting for a person to look at, even though art emotes whatever emotion for the person, you know, what they see in it and what they can identify with. That's what I want to create. No one has ever asked me to create something dark, morbid, or anything like that. So yeah.
Hey, Doshi, is there a particular role that, we lost Doshi for a second. I think she'll be back on. But I want to ask you, you know, your radio show, one of the things I love about it, because you do all genres, you know, from acting, dance, and music,
Yes.
visual arts. And sometimes when we think about the arts, but from my point of view, the visual arts maybe in last place in regards to people, you know, giving acknowledgement to visual artists. For example, for me, when I have my TV show, I would interview fellow actors and actresses. I would interview musicians and dancers. Or visual artists, that didn't come till later, till I started to recognize the value of visual artists. So as a visual artist, you see visual artists maybe not getting the same type of recognition that an actor or a dancer or a musician may get?
They have not generally gotten the same type of recognition, only because I believe it's because so many people for so long have looked to the performing artists, you know, ones that get out there on the stage and attract all the crowds. So visual artists, of course, have been around for centuries, you know, way back since the beginning of time. People would draw or etch into stones, you know. So of course today, visual artists there are so many of us out here, you know, and whether we're painters, sculptors, you know, we create different things visually, and we don't get the recognition, unfortunately, that the other artists get, you know, like performing artists. Yeah. So, but we're still pushing. We haven't given up. Yeah.
Definitely. You know, you're originally from New York. I'm not sure when you came to Delaware. I want to ask you, what made you want to relocate from New York to Delaware?
Okay, well, I was born and raised in New York. And for a long time, I did want to just move out of New York City, but trying to figure out where to go. Because I've traveled different places. I've, you know, been on cruises. I've stayed in, aside from going to other countries and islands, I have gone to like, I've been in Florida for a while. I was in Oklahoma for a while. I was in, where else was I? In New Mexico for like a month, you know. So, but I just wanted a different environment. So when my sister moved down to Delaware, I came to visit her and I'm like, oh, wow, I got to really get out of New York, because New York is a beautiful place. Don't get me wrong. You know, it has its ups and downs, but it's still a beautiful place, but it's so crowded, you know.
Yes,
And I needed, at this point in those past years, I needed the space. I just needed a different environment to look at. And so I came down here, and aside from my family in Smyrna, I knew no one in Wilmington at all.
wow.
No, I knew no one in Wilmington. But I purchased a property here as a rental, and I was staying in Smyrna. And then when I decided to move here after my tenants left, I became a self-taught visual artist at that time. And I went out and introduced myself to the community, and I love the art community. So yeah.
You know, so we have some pretty well-known visual artists here. You know, we have Demetrius Wilson Bullock.
Yeah.
You have Crystal Baynard. You have Miss Eunice Lafayette. How did you go about meeting them? Was it you got Artscape with Connie Drummond, who's the Performing Arts Center. So I just very curious. When did you meet those fellow visual artists?
I met them actually in 2018. And what I did was I created some business cards after I formed my business with the art. And I went out. I also created a letter of introduction to get out of non-existence, actually. And I went out to introduce myself to the community. I first went to a neighborhood house, and then I got a teaching position there for the summer, teaching children arts and crafts. And then I went to Market Street. I just walked around in the summertime, and first person I met was Demetrius Bullock at Artscape.
Oh, wow.
And then I went up the line. I met Eunice Lafayette. I had actually done some research prior to my going out, because I had heard that there was a lot of artists in this community. So I had heard about Lafayette Gallery. I went and introduced myself to her. At the time, there was Loma Cafe before it was Milk and Honey. I introduced myself to them. And then I had a art exhibit here at my house, and I sold my first piece. And then after that, the first public space that I was at was Loma Cafe, which is now Milk and Honey on Market and 3rd. Yeah. So, and then I met Connie. Yeah, and Dr. J. Macklin, and yeah, that's how that happened.
Okay. All right, so once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is part 2 of 3 Men, 3 Women, The Stories of 6 Strangers, which will be taking place August 27th, Saturday, 7 p.m. at the Wilmington Drama League. Tickets will be sold at the door. So we'll go back. We'll join us once again. We lost you for a little bit, Dosi Keys. And Dosi, you are muted. You have to unmute yourself. Hit the video button. I mean the sound. You're muted.
Got it. Thank you. Yes, I just got kicked out. The computer just did. I said, let me go to the phone. That's what the modern technology does. So sorry.
Right. Okay. You know, I want to ask you too, Doshi, you made mention earlier of one of the impactful leaders in the African American community or Jamaican community, the African community, the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey and Garvey Yacht. You know, I'm looking at this play, and I'm looking at the main characters for the females. These female characters are pretty strong. They're educated. You know, they got their own careers. So how important is it? You two are ladies. So I want to ask you two ladies, how important is it to see the females in this particular production be a positive influence? Because let's just face it, sometimes when we look at productions, you may see a female playing a role of a prostitute. You know, she may play the role of a sex symbol. You may not see her as strong, educated, career-minded. So how significant is it to see such a powerful woman in this play production? Anybody can go first.
Okay, that is very powerful to see strong women in this production and anywhere, you know, as opposed to seeing women who are on drugs, playing drug addicts or prostitutes. Those, I mean, we know those things exist, but I would say to you that it's really a pride to be a part of this play and know that the women there have faced situations, but they've overcome. And that's most important, because as women, of course, you know, we are really strong and we are leaders. And sometimes we don't have the opportunity to portray that. And this play gives them the opportunity to do that. So that's great.
And I just say, the women that we stand on the shoulders of, I always like to say that we stand on some real strong shoulders of some real strong women, and that they made lots and lots and lots of sacrifices.
Yep.
So, you know, we say thank you, you know, Brother Omar, that when you made, you know, probably because there was strong women around you as well, and you seen that. And we're not saying that there aren't things that are happening in the community and to our women, but you know, even some of them have even still came over some stuff. So yes, I mean, you know, that right there just says, you know, shows the resilience of what our people do and how we were taught. And you know, we always, you know, we say it now, but we know what it felt like to knock on the door, you know, for a cup of sugar, and nobody better not hear that I was next door to Miss King's house, you know what I mean, and got a cup of sugar the next day, because somebody, you know, because that was community. That's what we've done. So, you know, that's really pertinent. And it, you know, again, just grateful that we stand on those women's shoulders. Men too, but
go ahead.
we're talking about strong women. But can I just say this one thing? Got disconnected was what role would I not do? I wouldn't do a role that would debase my character as a person or as a woman in any kind of way. So, and I pray.
Can't hear you. Your sound went off again. You gotta get your sound back on. There you go. Okay, it's back. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. So I wouldn't do a role that would do any debasing me of any kind, or of a woman, and especially one of color.
Right. Absolutely.
Exactly. You know, I want to ask you two ladies a question. I mean, you kind of touched on it earlier, but I want to get a little bit more in depth. You know, this is part two, so I want to ask you two ladies the same question I asked those who in part one. What reaction do you think that people in the audience are going to get when they come see the play? Anybody can go first.
When they come see this play?
Yeah.
The reaction, number one, is going to be of excitement, because the audience does not know what to expect, first of all. And then as each character unfolds and talks about their, you know, from the script, the audience, I believe, will be
quite shocked, probably, not too much, but there will be people that will be able to identify with what the characters are speaking about and what's going on in the play. Yeah, they will definitely be surprised, most likely. And some may be, it may be heartfelt for them because they will be able to relate to the experiences. Yeah.
Okay, Dose?
Well, I believe that out of each character that is there, somebody in that audience got a piece of that person's personality somewhere in there. Not that those things, they know of somebody, they've seen it. I believe that there will definitely be a connection to say, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what really is what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what's going on. It's not so far off to the left. Somebody say, nobody. This thing right here is real. That's what I'm gonna say. If I said anything about it, I say it's real.
It's real, definitely. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. It is real. It happens all the time, yesterday, today, and most likely tomorrow. So it's real, yeah.
You know, if I'm blessed, this play will go on tour, and I would love to go on Broadway. Janice, you've been from New York. What is the experience like watching plays in New York?
Oh, wow. The experience for me was great because the first play, the first Broadway show that I went to see as a child was The Rockettes. And then I saw Hello, Dolly with Carol Channing and Pearl Bailey. So I was so excited. I wanted to be on stage at that time, you know. And even as a little girl, I was just so excited because that was my first experience there, you know, and all the lights in the city and all the people. And so I've seen many plays over time. You know, I've even seen James Earl Jones.
A legend.
Yeah, that was, oh my goodness, what did he play in? Don't Bother Me, I Can't Cope. Back then. Don't Bother Me, I believe I Can't Cope was the name of that play. I'm trying to think of the other ones that I've seen, but I was just excited to be there, knowing that those experiences were going on. I hadn't experienced any of those things, but and sometimes even as a youngster, I didn't understand it, but just knowing that people were on stage performing, you know, and that was really exciting for me. But as I got older and watching plays, and I've seen off-Broadway plays also, you know, even plays in churches, you know, that were really, really intense or exciting, interesting. Even at my church that I used to go to at St. Paul with Reverend Youngblood, they put on many different plays, you know, and one big stage one was the Ma'afa, you know, of what occurred with us over in Africa many centuries ago, you know, so that was really deep. But I always loved plays. So now that I'm here in Delaware, seeing plays, you know, up close, and this one being a part of the production team is really exciting, and I'm really honored to have the opportunity. Yeah, thanks.
Okay. So Dose, did you ever go to New York or Atlanta or outside of Delaware?
I think some of the things that we started culturally. I mean, you know, we was kind of, I mean, I got it as an adult, but kind of like, you know, growing up in it, like I remember when Nikki Giovanni worked at People Settlement Association and she'd done a play there. Mm-hmm. And I was a part of that. And but you know, Daddy used to take us to cultural things. So I remember seeing like our first African dancers, you know, that came from Africa, and he had got us tickets and we was all lined up there. You know, it was just like, I mean, it's just like something about the stage. But one of the plays that stuck with me through the years was that Serafina. That play right there, I cried like a baby. I was in DC. I went to go see it. I know 3, if not 4 times. Wow. Until it left. I tell you, I mean, and you know, they had to create their scene. So you know, you had to feel that prison scene with not a bar there, and they made it happen. So, you know, that's the exhilaration that I believe that I remember when I was a part of a little production I put together for colored girls who are considered suicide when the rain was moving
I
up.
remember that.
I
Yeah.
did the lady in yellow without any assistance or guidance from you. And I took two of them and said no apologies. Then I had the lady in red, and then I had a lady that was in yellow. And we just did a little small monologue. We've also done it at the church. So, I mean, it's just something about being on a stage and being a character. I just think, you know, like when I look at the Betty Davises and I look at the Lena Horne, you know, and you see them, that Dorothy Dandridge with her gorgeous self, you know, that Judy Pace, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I know those words, they want to call them, you know, Black exploitation, but guess what? They still even did it with class.
Yes, they sure did. Absolutely.
And I know they wanted to try to rip it all the way down. And as Miss Pam Greer said when she came, she said they were trying to rip it all the way off. That's all. I ain't going no further than that. You know, come on, y'all, come on. You know, but you know, Foxy was Foxy.
Right.
We still are just grateful. As Miss Janice said, to be a part of this production. So, you know, I'm just like, just want to be my absolute best and do my best.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. I want to ask you ladies, start off with Doshi, who were some of your, I know you probably got a whole list, but who were a few of your favorite actors and actresses?
Wow. Well, that's Sidney Poitier is definitely, you know, one of mine. I did a report on him when I was in the 6th grade. I just know I was just good and in love with me some Sidney Poitier, but then when you read about his life, he came here, he couldn't speak English. He learned it through a gentleman that was he was a dishwasher. And so the gentleman used to come in and have a newspaper, and every day he gave him a newspaper and told him to read it. That's how he started learning, you know.
Where is he from?
He is from one of the islands. Is he Bahamian? Yeah. He's from over, yes, originally. And anyway, then of course, you know, we have the as I said, Betty Davis and Barbara Stanwyck and Dorothy Dandridge, and then coming on up that Viola Davis. You know, I mean, we just have such I name women, but definitely those men, the James Earl Jones, you know, John Singleton, you know, those people put into the screenwriting now that's going on now, they put in heartfelt emotion. There's no way, and I know, you know, I enjoy Tyler Perry, and I know sometimes they say, oh, it gets to, but he always puts a message in his movies.
Right.
It's a message. My dear might cut out, but it's a message in his movies and his shows. So, you know, those are just a few.
All right. Yeah, it's your turn.
Okay, so some of my favorite actresses, Diane Carroll was one of my most favorite growing up, because that's what I remember when she first appeared on television as a child, people would say, oh, there's a colored person on TV. So, yeah. I watched her and Julia and James Earl Jones, you know, at that time also. Sidney Poitier, like Dosha said, I really liked him. He was so intense. He was so intense in his craft, you know, and so professional. I would say, let's see, Viola Davis is one. She's more contemporary. There are so many, you know, for me to name them. I don't want to leave anyone out. So there were so many that I just give my hat to and salute for their craft to be able to, whether they're on stage or on television or in a movie, you know, to perform to their best. Yeah.
All right, and close it out. I want to ask you two ladies, start off with Janice. Why should people come out and see this play?
Oh, people should come out and see this play, number one, because it is a play that everyone can identify with, number one. The cast is amazing, number two. It's written by omarrashada, number three, who has a history of being creative and playwriting. Number four, I would say that it's going to be great for people to come out and just get together and see what the cast puts on for them. You know, of course, we know there's many things that go on in life, but actually to see the cast and see how everything comes together. And it's going to be a great venue. Yeah.
All right, those.
And well, I say you should come out because I believe that you will come in one kind of way, being saying, what is it? But when you leave out, you'll be like, wow, yeah, that's right. That's right. I believe there's a lot of agreement of some things that are going on. And I believe we just have a cast that's passionate about what they do. We have a production manager that makes sure that we're on task, you know, and as she says, with the kindness and the gentleness, but guess what? It still got to be done. That's her job.
Yes.
She don't come in with the iron fist. Now she could, because we coming down to the wire, but that's not the way that she is choosing to do that. And you know, and even though we're down to what we got to do, so I'm just grateful that, listen, come on out, see storylines that I know somewhere along the line you will be a part of it, and we would love to engage you to be a part of us on August the 27th at the Delaware Drama League at 7 p.m.
That's right. And
All right,
before you go, I just want to also reiterate what Dosha said. Yes, folks, come on out. You won't be disappointed. You will enjoy yourself. Definitely.
August 27, 2022, Saturday, 7 p.m. at the Wilmington Drama League, 10 Wesley Boulevard, Wilmington, Delaware, 19802. Tickets, $30, general admission. If you want to reserve, you can email me, omarrashada@yahoo.com, or you can just simply buy tickets at the door. Please like, subscribe, and share. Ladies, and thank you for being a guest.
Thank you for having
you.
us. Thank you so much.
All right,
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, take care.
Okay,
All
see
right,
everybody at
thank
the
you.
theater. Okay, thanks.
All righty. We see
Bye.
you.